Mr. Speaker, it is the agenda of this House to call the service chiefs. What are you doing that the territory of Nigeria is falling under the terrorists?
Agbakishile mmadụ no question nwane boge zoleneze. Ekwele ke kwensu bata na etiti anyị. Ekwensu bata bụ na ị na-agbakishile nwane boge choke finya biri. Ebi na kwa nke ekwe mere kwa nke ebe kwa oche. Anu ge mu ho bụ biko. Biko. Now. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
And some people in all of this, because they wanted to make it about politics and APC, they said, oh, it's because Umar is doing road. Concrete road, that it just shows that they thought it was road and everything. This is not something to laugh about.
Man, where the men? Where the men, bro? Men get tools, men go follow us with tools. Follow us with tools. Boko Haram won't take over everywhere.
Yes, the time has come for Nigerians to think with their brains and remove themselves from these shackles of slavery. If Britain, they think that Nigeria is their company, as presumed is their company, then let Nigerians pay them off their investment in Nigeria. Let's arrange this country the way we want it to be. If we say we are not staying together, that we want every region to go as we were on our own before, let it be. What Nigeria is using today as constitution is not people that came together to fashion out that constitution. It's just the military that formed it. And anybody in charge of that time can do anything about the military. That's why you see Sharia mentioned 100 and something times in Nigeria constitution. You never hear anything Christianity in it. So if we are ready and the time has come, with what is happening now, people are raising questions here and there, even in the house. The upper house, the lower house, questions are being raised. What are the chiefs, military chiefs, what are the defense chiefs doing? What are they doing if they cannot perform their job? Because we have invaders in our country. The invaders relax giving authority. It is now invaders that gives authority in a place that we call our country. Oh, in fact, if we really understand, in fact, we don't deserve to be even called a sovereign country. Sorry to say that, but that is the truth. If you cannot defend the citizen of a country, what is sovereign about it? Let's hear from the upper house or the lower house. Somebody from Sokoto is shouting on top of his voice, but that is not the solution. The solution is to go back to the very foundation and reformat the system. It happens. If you are using a disk, if the disk is corrupt, you can reformat it. And that is the proper word. Disk corrupts. When any time it corrupts, you can reformat the disk and start afresh. That is the way we can have safety in this country. Let's hear this man first, then we're going to start properly.
Mr. Speaker, it is the agenda of this House to call the service chiefs. What are you doing that the territory of Nigeria is falling under the terrorists? Terrorists are taking control of the territory, and the army, the entire armed forces, their fundamental role is to subjugate Nigerian territory, and the territory has been taken over by terrorists. Mr. Speaker, the first week of May, Goro, where I was born, bandits invaded my hometown, killed one person, abducted 10 women, and children. Mr. Speaker, only 5 days, bandits embedded people in Rima town, abduct 24 people, killed one innocent Alhaji Hassan Mekanta. Where are we going? As a nation, where are we heading to?
Yes, you have seen that, and it's not today we started hearing such things. We are used to it. Every day over the house, they will talk their own. We have said these things, how these things come to that level. Some people are using religion to deceive some people in this country. They are using Islam. When they started using this Islam, they will make you feel as if you are part of them. At a point, the real people that have agenda will come out and start detecting what happens. I saw a video from Southeast. In fact, I've never seen that kind of video before. I say, oh, this kind of thing, they even happen in the Southeast. And that's why Southeast is not easy for them to penetrate, because we don't practice that Islam. It's not part of us, because that is the tool that they use. That is the tool they use to enter people. Outside people, others, that's the tool they use to dismantle their arrangement in their places, their culture and everything. So it's difficult for them to penetrate Southeast because of this Christianity that we are, or we are Christians that we are. You know, Christianity is in charge of Southeast 99.5%. So I've started seeing these infiltrators, people, you know, it is their right though. But I'm going to show you the video from time now, because in that video you see Igbo man leading the prayer. After some time now, when they gain ground, they say no, not only Fulani people go they lead prayer. From there now, Chatabom, they will take over. Let's watch. We are still coming, but let's start with this.
Oh, I'm not doing fun. No freedom of papa. No freedom of papa. No freedom of papa. Have fun, there, have fun. I've had Ibrahim made it. Ibrahim made them in control. No freedom of papa because no, Madam Mukhtar, because you have to mazja. Baba, Alaji, you have to mazja. Aha, mashallah. No freedom of papa. Because no freedom of papa because nem pure papa so nem mezu salai. O pure papa so nem mezu salai because no freedom of papa. No question one eboge, buna ezele neze. Agbati shilemad no question one eboge ezele neze. Ekweleke kwensu bata na titi anyi. Ekwensu bata bu na ina agbati shimana eboge choke finya biru. Ebi na kwa nke be kwa mere kwa nke be kwa ochi. Anu ge mu ho bu biko. Biko. Now Allahu Akbar. 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 الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
All right, you have seen that is not AI, that is pure. You can hear the language, you know, they are coming in from the flanks of Igbo land. That's in Soka. That man is speaking pure in Soka. Yes, to tell you that, you don't see as the other people, they do like say they don't know what they do. When time come now and then go there in charge. All right, we are going to hit Very Dark Man, the situation of things going on in Abuja. Very Dark Man is there with his people. In fact, a lot of things like that. In fact, one is going on in Osun and other places too. The Osun own is very hot. I'll still show you the video of it. But Abuja own, that thing is something else, man. Even they went to the defense headquarters block, you know, telling them what are they doing? What are they doing with the budgets? Nah, a lot of things are going on in this country that looks as if we are not human beings. We don't just care. Anything that happens. People are doing whatever they want. They spat on our face. It's very, very unfortunate. But let's see the situation going on in Abuja. And we are still coming back to give you the main gist. Let's go.
Men mount, men, where the men? Where the men, bro? Men get tools, men go fall out with tools. Fall out with tools! Boko Haram won't take over everywhere. They have surrounded almost every state. Like I said, I be on our only power now to the snatch ballot box for politicians because now which one now they use. All now to intimidate all these small boys. Is that what you people are all about? Yeah? Abakraya. Aye. Aromate.
Tell us when you are bringing the children and give us when you are going to stop the banditry and the terrorism in Nigeria. Simple as ABCD. But we'll start with when you are going to release the children. Who's willing to speak? Anybody? No. Let's continue. Let's go. Over 3 weeks now, 45 children have been kidnapped in Oyo State. Yes. One of the teachers have been beheaded. They're not gone there. They worry them. The military have failed to do nothing. Even though the Ministry of Defense get a budget of 3.18 trillion naira every year. They have failed to protect us. Yes, sir. Bandits have taken over Nigeria. Bandits have taken over our farmland. Bandits are raping our women. Bandits are raping our children. Yes, sir. Bandits are killing our mothers. Yes. Bandits are killing our fathers. Yes. Nobody is safe in Nigeria anymore. Yes. What are the military doing? Nothing. Nothing. What are the police doing? Nothing. What are the soldiers doing? Nothing. Tinubu was. Go. Tinubu was. Go. Bandits was. Go. Bandits was. Go. 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 They should bring back the children from Oyo State. And we can consider.
Exactly.
Else, we'll come out every day.
Yes.
Until they bring the children outside. That is the only thing we want. They should return the children and we will all go home.
Yes.
Tinubu is a failure.
Lead one. They should.
A bunch of fools have lied to us. And they have failed us.
Yes.
Nobody. You can vote to anybody you like.
Yes.
But Tinubu should not come back 2027.
Not for liberty.
Yes.
And we are tired. And that's why we say Tinubu must go. Tinubu must go. APC must go. Bandits must go. a message to everybody in this area. All you do is complain. Most of you don't even have a car. People can remove Tinubu, they can remove any other. Those girls. No. Those girls are still in the bush till today. Yes. That is why these bandits have the audacity to kidnap more people. Yes. Because the military have failed to carry out their responsibility. Yes. The Air Force have failed to carry out their responsibility. Yes. The police have failed to carry out their.
All right, that is Very Dark Man and the Rattle movement, showcasing their anger. In fact, that anger cuts across the whole Nigeria. People may not be there with them, but they have anger more than those people there. I don't know if there any other way they are expressing it, if not now. Well, let's hear this detailed discussion concerning the situation that we find ourselves. Very, very ugly situation that people, until we all die, that something will happen. Who is going to do the thing when we all die, God forbid? So people need to, defend their rights and live the life that God has given them to live it in full. Let's go.
FCT Commissioner of Police, Ahmed Sanusi, leads his team in a victory dance in the rain after killing 2 terrorists and rescuing 5 kidnapped victims. In Kabwa, Abuja, Nigerians are celebrating online. Let's watch.
The general area is called Pazi, which was under Biazi, and we are here. We brought the war to them. We are tired of waiting for them. We had our deployment here since about 4 days ago, and we've been after them. Yesterday we were lucky. Yes, we've been sleeping here. If you look at the vehicles, you will see mats, bread, and other things. Yesterday we even did a party. We slaughtered the ram, isn't it? And then we enjoyed ourselves. So we're happy being here. The kidnappers have been coming in from this area. We got a proper intel and we activated it. We came here waiting for them. Lock run against them. We neutralized some and we've gotten some. They're here. Just yesterday to this morning, we got them. Some actually escaped with a bullet wound, and then the victims were liberated. They didn't go with any victims. This straight to Kaduna. So they will be beating people like they beat their cows until they get them to a place called Kadaruko, Rijana and Co in Kaduna. So we have mounted here and we're going to remain here. We're waiting for them, let them come. They will meet us here. Happy being with my men while on the field, because that gives them the morale, that gives them the sense of recognition and also to the effect that when they see me leading from the front, they are also ready to go with me, die with me, live with me, win with me, conquer with me, and return with me.
Now, this is exactly the proactive intelligence-led policing that communities across Nigeria have been demanding. And CP Sanusi and his team deserve real credit. Kudos. But with fleeing suspects still armed and at large in Bayezin Hills in Abuja, the operation is not yet complete, and the commissioner is calling on the public and hospitals to report any suspicious gunshot wounds cases immediately. The pressure is on. Dr. Bati, good morning. How are you this morning? Good morning. Ayomide, our president. Good morning. Rufi on fire. Of course, you know how excited I'm about with this win, because what did I say? I'm Omolokpa. You know, congratulations to the...
Should I help you translate?
Yes, I know what is Omolokpa. Yes. Policeman's daughter.
Oh,
that's
I was going to say barracks.
No, but good. Yes, why not? Proud, really proud. I'm proud of the Nigerian police force today. And in another major security breakthrough, this time in the southeast, the DSS and the Nigerian Army have raided 2 separate ESN armories in Enugu State, recovering a rocket launcher, RPG warheads, AK-47 rifles, grenades, hundreds of rounds of ammunition, and most alarmingly, NYSC uniforms and lanyards. Security sources say the raids foiled planned attacks designed to create the false impression that terrorists had invaded the southeast. Now, the discovery of NYSC uniforms is the detail that demands the most urgent attention, suggesting ESN was planning to disguise operatives as core members to infiltrate communities undetected. The Southeast has battled insecurity for years, and this discovery confirms the threat is real, armed and calculated. Now, credit to the DSS and the Nigerian Army. Nigeria must remain vigilant. I want to tie in all the insecurity stories together before we discuss. And now, in Kogi State, where I highlighted earlier, 2 developments making headlines and generating reactions. Terrorists swarmed government secondary school in Kababunu local government area of the state on Wednesday, riding on 40 motorcycles, killing 3 people, including the school's vice principal, a 70-year-old man, and a 6-year-old child. The Nigerian police and technical teams acted swiftly, and the abduction attempt was foiled, forcing attackers to flee into the surrounding forest. Now, this is such an alarming detail because obviously it's, again, a school kidnap. We had, 3 innocent lives lost, but, witnesses confirmed the death toll would have been far higher without the rapid security response. Now, joint operatives are still conducting bush-combing operations to prevent further attacks. Meanwhile, Yoruba Nation activist Sunday Igboho is also making moves in Kogi State, touring communities on a familiarization mission ahead of planned forest operations across the southwest, having already announced that his security team is actively clearing Yoruba-speaking parts of Kogi and Kwara of terrorists and criminals. Now, Dr. Abati, 2 different approaches to insecurity, 1 state, and the battle to rid Nigeria's forest of criminality is intensifying. I'd like your thoughts, to begin with Sunday Igboho. I mean, we have always called on, community-led approach to this sort of insecurity. I don't know what your thoughts are on his approach.
Okay, let's start with Chief Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as Sunday Igboho.
He came into public prominence in 2021 when he said he was going to, rid Yoruba forest, Kogi Kwara, of forest marauders who were kidnapping and killing people and causing mayhem. He ran into trouble 2022 when the Buhari government went after him and he had to leave the country. But eventually, he was rehabilitated by the Tinubu administration and brought back after his trials in the Republic of Benin. And now he's back in action. He says, following the abduction of teachers and children who are, by the way, 3 weeks later, still in captivity from Orire, local government of Oyo State, he has now declared the launch, the establishment, the formation of a group called Iruekun Security Network. Iruekun, that would be like Amotekun, really, leopard. Since we don't have tigers in Africa, it means the tiger of the tail of the leopard's tail. And he says they are now operating in parts of Kogi and Kwara State. And the video is just showing us Igbo going on a familiarization tour. Now, the fact that we have groups like ESN, that we have groups like Amotekun, we have a community guard in Benue, and similar groups that are non-state actors, even if Igbo is saying is supported by the Tinubu administration, also speaks to the fact that the state agencies are not, they are overwhelmed. Let me put it like that. And, if Igbo is going to get support from the state, then groups like ESN and similar other groups elsewhere, including the vigilante groups in the north, should also be given the same amount of support. We just hope that this emergence of these groups trying to help, since the federal government is always calling for collaboration, community approach to dealing with insecurity in the country, that they will not end up as militias, and that they will not end up with a different kind of purpose in the long term. However, I think it's good that we celebrate the security agencies when they do well. The DSS, the police and other agencies, the military, seizing arms and ammunition from the wrong hands. The problem is one of proliferation of small arms and light weapons. And it speaks to the security of our borders. Who are the people who bring in this sophisticated weaponry? Nigeria is signatory to the Convention on the Proliferation of small arms and weapons. And yet these weapons, they get into this country through all kinds of means, land, air, and sea borders. So the very minimum that government can do is to fulfill its commitment to this convention on the proliferation of small arms and light weapons. We're even a member, Nigeria is a member of the regional committee on that. But that committee, has continued to fail, especially with regard to Nigeria. And to the example of Ahmed Sanusi, the FCT police commissioner, I think, yes, he's commendable, he spoke very well. If, his statement fits the rhetoric, fits the facts that he put across, I think that's commendable. Ahmed Sanusi was saying, we decided to take the war to them, but the war is so close. That place he mentioned, Bazin, is in Kubwa area of Abuja. So there's one confirmation there that these terrorists, these bandits, they are right inside Abuja. And so he said they got intel, again, underlining the importance of intelligence, and he and his men decided to go there and wait for them for about 5 days, he said, and that they were proud to do it. And when the bandits showed up, they gave them the chase. They killed some people. They said some of them were wounded, and they rescued some victims. So it shows proactiveness. That's the underlining word. It shows gallantry on the part of Ahmed Sanusi and his men. And he spoke about leadership, that he decided to lead the war, he calls it. Yes, that's an appropriate word. It's a war, because he wanted to motivate his men. And you see, after they succeeded and they were singing and dancing in the raid, Ahmed Sanusi himself is not one of these pot-bellied commissioners of police or DPOs. You see that he looks fit. So it's a good advertisement for the Nigeria police force. No pot-belly, very fit, and he could even engage with his men.
And they all look fit.
This is the kind of thing that we would like to see. You know, because the Nigerian army is overstretched. The armed forces are overstretched. I argue that we are using our armed forces to do police work. Can we support the police, encourage them, empower them for that, so that they can fulfill their objectives under the Police Act of Nigeria?
Dr. Amati, thank you for that.
Sections 1 to 4. Very clear.
Very
in the Police
robust.
Act.
Very robust analysis. And I'll say again, kudos to our Nigerian security agencies, the Nigerian Police Force, the Nigerian Army, the DSS. This morning, Nigerians are celebrating with you. Well, you know what? Ayo, Abuja came to a standstill last night as activist Martins Osher, popularly known as Very Dark Man, led a massive protest to the Air Force Base demanding an immediate end to the nation's insecurity. VDM, who arrived at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport from China, was greeted by thousands of Ratel movement members who took over the airport and the Abuja Stadium overnight. The protesters marched on, chanting, "Tinubu must go." Let's take a look.
They keep raping our women. Yes, they keep taking our children. Yes, sir. They have beheaded a teacher. Yes, sir. 45 children are still in the bush. Yes, sir. Till now, nothing has been done. Yes, sir. And you are here holding gun. Are you not ashamed? I swear. If you have bullets to shoot us, you have bullets to shoot kidnappers. Yes! Yes! Shoot kidnappers. Yes! Yes! Carry your airplane and go and go for them. Yes! Yes! Yes!
All right, the young people are out there demanding the immediate release of our abducted Nigerians. Right there at the Air Force Base, you heard VDM saying, please carry your airplane and go out there. But there's more to this conversation about the young movement.
Yes.
Your thoughts?
The soul of Nigeria right now lies in the hands of the young people. We've often talked about what the status quo is now and how, unfortunately, the older generation have not really done well in managing Nigeria and taking us to the promised land. And why do I say young people? Their vigor, their passion, their energy, their intellect, their manpower. Nigeria has a large population of youth, of young people, and so this is important to note. But beyond the protests, which I understand, and in Nigeria, VDM and the other Nigerians who are there have a right to peaceful protest, and as you can see, this was largely peaceful, just enunciating the hardship, the insecurity in the country, and even calling that if the president is not able to manage this, then he should go. But beyond this, Oji, we've often talked about the importance of your PVC.
Correct.
Your vote. One man, one vote. It's been said that based on the numbers of registrants for the next election, the young people are going to decide largely who will emerge because they make up a majority of the number of registered voters currently. However, there are some people who are making a lot of noise and issue of this, but they don't have PVCs, whether online. And as Dr. Bato will often say, elections are not won on social media, not on X, not on Instagram, not on Facebook, not on TikTok. You can air your grievances through these channels, but the most important thing is that you must not dissociate yourself from the political electoral process. And that's why I always talk about voter apathy not being a solution at all. In fact, it actually makes the problem even worse. And so this is a call again to the young people in Nigeria, whoever it is or whomever it is that you support or want to see as your next leader come 2027, be a part of that process. Beyond protests, beyond complaints on social media, get to your ballots and ensure that you vote. And this is also highlighting, I've gotten a number of tags and messages around difficulties in obtaining or getting their PVCs, that INEC hasn't done well in that regard. And so this is also a public call to INEC. The people want to exercise their franchise. Please make it an avenue, provide an enabling environment for all Nigerians who desire to do so to exercise their franchise. And so whatever the challenge is with regards to picking up PVCs, they should fix it. We've had too many, I've had so many messages, people saying, let's highlight this issue, let's highlight these problems where people are unable. They'll say, oh, system crash, technical glitch. They are not able to get their PVCs. Please let's get everyone their PVCs and vote for whomever you want to vote for at the next elections.
Thank you for that, Ayo. Aneze Osakwe has a special explainer for that topic tomorrow, and we will bring that to our viewers tomorrow. Now, this story is like something out of a movie. A private aircraft missed its approach at Asaba Airport on Wednesday morning, and instead of aborting the landing, it touched down on a concrete roadway still under construction in Ogwashuku, with 4 crew members on board. But here is where it gets even more alarming. Shortly after landing, the aircraft took off again, straight to Lagos, without any regulatory clearance. Let's take a look.
Oh boy, see play where where they walk? It miss in track. Oh boy, that's about airport. Mistakenly go land for roadway with the construct.
One of the tires of the roadway is shaking. So the pilot is on land now. If he takes it down flat.
Which motor? On see wahala.
Go.
Take it, take off. Take off now. You don't take off.
Don't go. Hey. You didn't see him. I know they will see about the video.
Rufai, have you ever seen anything like this? Well, you know what? The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, confirmed in a post on X that the aircraft actually departed without regulatory clearance, with air traffic control only notified after the plane was already airborne. Keyamo added that the NCAA has since grounded the aircraft, suspended the operator's permit, and placed the crew under security custody. He also added that a full investigation is underway, describing the incident as a serious breach of regulations, of course, and security. Look at this story, Rufai. Now, landing on a concrete road is alarming enough, but taking off from one without clearance is a different level entirely. And, Nigerian aviation authorities are right to come hard on this. And why I say taking off is a different conversation entirely is because you have to actually talk to, the other side to know whether it's safe enough to take off. This is a serious, serious security breach. It's not just endangering the pilot, you're endangering the people's lives, people on ground. Because what happens if it crashes on air with another plane? There's no clearance. How did this happen?
Lawlessness is our hub in Nigeria. Since people were going to stay in front of plane that was about to move and they turned them into ambassadors, what do you expect? Lawlessness is our second name. Oji, who were those on board? Who is the so-called VIP on board? Or was the plane flying empty?
No, 4 crew members. There are 4 people there on board as well. I think they left.
Passengers.
They were passengers, yes.
So who are the so-called VIP
those
on
are
board
the investigations
that had to go back? If they mention the name of the VIP, I will be happy. But in Nigeria, I know. Let's wave that aside.
Do you know what I want to say quickly about the landing? We don't know what happened and why it landed. They are saying
it missed its way,
that's what they are saying.
Obviously,
that's what
saying
they are
it missed
saying.
its way.
Right.
But, Oji, who were the people on board there? Because those VIP, it's either their life means nothing to them, but I don't want to think an average Nigerian VIP life will not mean anything to them. So it's just the level of lawlessness that pervades the air. The fact that something like that happened, You didn't alert the authorities. You didn't alert the aviation safety authorities. There was no clearance. Nothing of such happened.
I've never heard.
And then people left. But anyway, Minister Keyamo sent the presser out yesterday that he's arrested people. We'll see the investigation. We'll see where the investigation will come out. But you will see that the names of the people, the high and mighty that are passengers of that crew. Because as a passenger, once that happened, I thought you would have triggered an alert and say, no, we can't go on this. And even come down. But the passenger that stood while the plane left on a tarmac, they told us, you don't go, you never go, you don't go, you don't go, you don't go. And you put your life at risk. What if, as the plane was taxiing, it ran out of road? It's still a road under construction. And some people in all of this, because they wanted to make it about politics and APC, they said, oh, it's because Umai is doing road. Concrete road, that it just shows that they thought it was road and everything. This is not something to laugh about. It's an aberration of and you see, Keyamo should fight this because Nigeria just got accolades from IATA for airline safety, and they are seeing this happen. Me, I'm just so concerned about the VIPs on board or the passengers on board that aircraft because it's not a small private jet. It's obviously a big plane. And the registration, was it an aerospace company? Was it a charter plane? Let's get all those information.
We're going to get to the bottom
we
of
are
this.
waiting.
Yes.
And if names are mentioned, I will be happy.
Right.
But me and you know that this Nigeria, names will not mention.
And Dr. Bati, no, before you add your footnote, I also want you to discuss this because he made a valid point, which is, he said that did you get a statement from the Ministry of Works, or there was a story on the Ministry of Works saying that, the plane might have thought that it was landing on a runway, because now they're not only building roads for vehicles, they're building roads that are durable for even aircrafts to land.
Well, that was a footnote that I was going to give, because I'm interested in the next story.
Yes.
I will quickly treat this.
Yes.
Which is that, yes, David Umai, Minister of Works, this incident has given him bragging rights. Because if this was one of those patched roads and bitumen patched roads with potholes, the outcome may have been different.
Correct.
You know, there could have been a major accident. But this is concrete, cement. I hear they use cement to build these roads. It shows the durability of it carrying such weight. So the minister is entitled to his bragging rights. However, this is impunity of the highest order. And I align myself that this is a serious matter. It's not a matter that can be joked about, you know, that you will sweep under the market, under the carpet. Festus Keyamo, the Minister of Aviation Development, has made the point that the non-commercial license, permit for the particular aircraft has been withdrawn with immediate effect. Investigation is going on. But you know, we live in a country of big men. Whoever the big man is, we want to know his name. Who is behind it. Whoever the pilot is, we want to know. In fact, the license of the pilot may have to be withdrawn at the end of the day. And we, the long-suffering people of Nigeria, must hear the outcome of the investigation. It must not be swept under the carpet, so that this kind of recklessness, this kind of impunity does not become a standard in the Nigerian aviation industry. Until one day they will land inside somebody's compound and claim that they saw that the person has a large compound.
Unacceptable. But you know, the NCAA has grounded this aircraft. Very good. It's grounded. So we'll follow up on the investigation. Let's now.
All right, viewers, and welcome back from that clip. I tell you that if you have not subscribed to YangaLife channel, please click on the subscription button, notification bell, like this video, and don't forget to share it so that others will see and know that you are part of the progress that we are witnessing in Nigeria, or we are about to witness, because there must be a change, a grand rooted change. That's the only way this country can start breathing. I am still Chinedu till I come your way next time. I say bye.